A single phone call at midnight unraveled everything's secrets, betrayals, and the city's darkest shadows ready to strike. Rain poured over the city in relentless sheets, making the neon reflections in puddles ripple like distorted mirrors. Detective Arif Khan pressed his back against a damp brick wall in a narrow alleyway, cigarette smoke curling around his face, mixing with the fog. 6 months had passed since the last string of robberies ended, but tonight, the familiar feeling of dread crept into his bones. The call had come at 12:03 a.m. A low, urgent voice whispered of a robbery that wasn't about Muniet, was about sending a message. Arif adjusted his coat and felt the reassuring weight of his revolver at his hip. He had seen everything: street gangs, mafia deals, and corruption, but something about this case felt different. There was a cold precision in the crime that made the hairs on the back of his neck rise. He arrived at the scene, a small jewelry store at the corner of 9th and Oak. Broken glass sparkled like jagged diamonds on the wet pavement. Inside, chaos met precision. Nothing had been stolen, yet every safe, every drawer, every lock had been meticulously opened. This wasn't a robbery. It was a declaration. Officer Lena Reyes approached, her face pale under the rain-slicked light. "It's like they wanted us to find this," she muttered. "No fingerprints, no footprints, just order." Arif crouched beside a toppled display case, examining the meticulous method behind the apparent chaos. "This isn't theft," he said. "This is intimidation." A tip arrived on his phone. "Check the docks at Pier 12 at 3 a.m. or the city bleeds." By 2:45 a.m., Arif and Lena arrived at Pier 12. Cargo containers loomed like silent giants under flickering floodlights. Only one figure was visible in the distance, a dark silhouette framed by shadow. Arif's hand tightened on his gun. "Police, show yourself." The figure turned slowly, mask hiding the face, and moved with deliberate grace. Before F could react, a faint click resonated beneath Lena's boot. A tripwire. A small explosion sent shards of wood and metal into the air. Arif dove, pulling her down just in time. Multiple figures emerged from the darkness, moving with inhuman precision. One dropped a USB drive, disappearing into the maze of containers. Arif snatched it and ran back to the car. At the precinct, he plugged the USB into a secure terminal. Schematics, blueprints, and lists of influential figures appeared on the screen. Names of city officials, business magnates, and law enforcement marked in red. This was a blueprint for control, a calculated strike against the city's core. Arif leaned back, realizing the enormity. Whoever orchestrated this wasn't a common criminal. They were someone who knew every law, every weakness, and every secret. The storm outside raged on, echoing the storm that had just begun within the city. Patterns in the shadows' days blurred as Arif pored over maps, street cameras, and public records. Surveillance footage led nowhere. Anonymous tips provided cryptic hints. 10 Bani said, but subtle patterns emerged. Numbers scratched on walls. Graffiti symbols at corners, seemingly random, but a code slowly revealed itself. Arif realized the next target was clear. City Hall, the city's heart. A strike there would send a message impossible to ignore. He coordinated a tactical team, placing undercover officers and creating redundancies for surveillance. They were ready, or so we thought. A blackout struck just as they arrived. The city descended into chaos. Car alarms screamed. Pedestrians ran blindly into storm-slick streets. Lightning illuminated the panic-stricken cityscape. Inside City Hall, marble floors gleamed under intermittent light. Security cameras were disabled. Every corridor, every exit, every stairwell had been mapped by someone who knew the building intimately. Arif's team moved cautiously. The mastermind wasn't hiding. She was waiting. In the mayor's office, a woman in her early 30s stood calmly, her expression cold, eyes sharp. "You're late, detective?" she said, almost mocking. Arif's gun was steady, step away from the files. Her smile was unsettling. "I'm the reset this city needs. Corruption ends tonight." She pressed a button. Files began transmitting to every major news outlet. Names of criminals, politicians, law enforcement officials, and hidden conspiracies. Citizens across the city watched the revelations unfold live. Betrayal, fraud, and murder exposed. The city teetered on the edge of panic. Chaos wasn't just outside. It was in every mind watching, every citizen realizing the fragility of the system they relied on. Arif lunged to disarm her. The struggle was tense, silent, but deadly. Finally, police stormed in, cuffing her before she could escape. The storm outside mirrored the storm within. The city watched its own skeletons being pulled from the closet. Midnight's reckoning weeks had passed since the city had witnessed the revelations of corruption, betrayal, and hidden conspiracies. The woman who had orchestrated the chaos was behind bars, yet Detective Arif Khan felt no relief. Standing atop the precinct's rooftop, rain dripping from his coat and pooling along the ledge, he surveyed the slick, neon-lit streets below. The city appeared calm, almost serene. But beneath the surface, a tension lingered, a reminder that darkness never truly slept. He could still feel the weight of the City Hall confrontation, the cold precision in her eyes, and the files she had released to the world. Every revelation had shaken the city's foundations. Public trust wavered, institutions stumbled, and whispers of conspiracy spread like wildfire. And yet, Arif knew that, while one battle had ended, the war was far from over. Lena approached quietly, holding 2 cups of coffee, her hair plastered by rain. "Think it's really over?" she asked, voice low, almost afraid of the answer. Arif shook his head slowly. "Crime never sleeps, neither can we." She was just the tip of the iceberg. There's always someone waiting, someone who thinks they can rewrite the rules. The city's streets glistened below, reflecting neon signs and traffic lights in fractured colors. Lightning split the sky in brilliant arcs, momentarily illuminating the rooftops, alleyways, and empty streets. Each shadow seemed alive, shifting in the wind, hinting at movement just out of sight. Arif's hand drifted instinctively toward his revolver. He was always ready, always watching. Inside him, memories of that night at City Hall lingered. The calm, calculated way she had pressed that button, releasing every secret, every betrayal to the world. The chaos it had caused outside mirrored the chaos she had sown inside the minds of citizens. Families had panicked. Streets had filled with people searching for answers, unsure who they could trust. The city's rhythm had faltered, and in that faltering, Arif had glimpsed a deeper truth. Vulnerability attracts predators. He thought about Lena and the officers who had risked everything that night. The risk wasn't over. Criminals thrived on opportunity, and every lapse in vigilance was an invitation. The city was a living organism, fragile yet resilient, and it depended on people like them to survive the night. A sudden chill wind swept across the rooftop, carrying the scent of rain-soaked asphalt and something else, something metallic, like the faint trace of blood or a memory of violence. Arif exhaled slowly, smoke curling from his cigarette, disappearing into the fog. Every sense was heightened. Every shadow could conceal a threat. "You know," Lena said softly, breaking the silence, "sometimes I wonder if we're just holding back the inevitable. The city, it has a pulse, and we can't control it completely." Arif turned, looking at her. "We can't control it, but we can protect it. And we have to try. That's what keeps people alive, keeps the city breathing." Lightning flashed again, illuminating the wet streets below. Far away, sirens wailed, a reminder that chaos never truly ends. Somewhere, a new plan was forming. New players testing boundaries, probing weaknesses. Arif felt it in his bones. The calm was deceptive, fragile. The night was alive, waiting for the next move. He looked back over the city, feeling both its beauty and its danger. Neon lights shimmered like veins through the darkness. Shadows stretched long and menacing, and the rain continued to fall, relentless and cold. Midnight had passed hours ago, but the tension of the night lingered, thick and unbroken. Arif dropped the cigarette, watching it extinguish in the puddles. He clenched his fists. Crime would never rest, and neither could they. He and Lena would patrol, watch, anticipate, and respond. The city depended on them, even if it never knew it. Above the skyline, the storm raged, lightning slicing the sky into jagged silver. thunder rolling through the buildings. Midnight was over, but danger had no curfew. Somewhere in the shadows, a new threat waited, and when it struck, the city would tremble again. Arif straightened, taking one last look at the glowing streets, and whispered under his breath, "We'll be ready." The rain fell harder. The city shimmered, wet and vulnerable. Silence stretched, but it was only temporary. Darkness never sleeps.